back to Minnesota Music Uncovered. I'm your host, Kaylee Matuzak. We're continuing our conversation with Alan Sparhawk of the seminal Duluth, Minnesota indie rock band Low. So, Alan, we've already spoken a bit about Low and all of the incredible opportunities that you've had, but I think what a lot of people are curious about is, how did you really get started in music? I don't think most people really know much about your origin story, as it were.
Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, it was nothing special, kind of your typical musician, I don't know. Grew up, played a little bit in high school, played the trumpet actually. And I was in the choir, that was pretty cool. And yeah, it was a good environment to grow up in.
Yeah, certainly. Did you play like in any bands in high school?
Well, I did have a band with some friends. We were called the Concertos, which is a terrible name, but I don't know, we had fun.
So what was the turning point that made you think about music a little more seriously?
Well, I moved to Duluth for college. At the end of my freshman year, the guy down the hall who was into punk music, he's like, hey, let's go to this country show. Not so much into country, but whatever. So anyway, this band's going and they're kind of ripping through some songs, and I noticed that the singer is starting to get kind of irate, and he's starting to kind of look over at the guitar player, and they're kind of looking back and forth, and the singer's obviously getting really mad. He actually goes over to the guy and kind of like pushing on his, pointing on his chest, you know, like, and kind of yelling something. You can't tell what's going on. He's poking and clearly there are clearly some problems going on. Anyway, eventually this guitar player, totally cool, was like, all right, that's it, I'm walking off. So he walks off, and I don't know where he went, but that was it. Meanwhile, this singer, still angry, comes up and he says, all right, anybody out here who can play these songs? And I'm like, I was just like, anyway, so my buddy looks at me, he's just laughing, and he's like, pointing at me, and I'm like, yeah, all right. So I like raise my hand, and I realize I'm the only one raising my hand, and this guy saw me right away, like, come on up here, like, oh no. So I go up there and I'm like, okay, well, how hard can this be? It's just country songs anyways. So they even had charts up there. I was kind of surprised. Show me this charts, and like, okay, next song, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, well, there's a C, there's a D. Okay, I can follow along with this stuff. So I start playing, and there were really only 3 or 4 songs left for the set. And the singer seemed okay with it and seemed happy. He wasn't yelling at me, at least. And so yeah, it was pretty fun. It was weird.
That is not typical.
No, it is not. I realize that. But actually, the strangest thing about that particular show was that was Cougar's band.
And by Cougar, you mean Greg Cougar Conley, I assume?
I'm afraid so.
Oh my gosh, so you didn't even know who he was. That is crazy.
I think my dad might have had one of his records, but I don't know. I didn't recognize him. It was really surreal for sure.
That is crazy, because he would have been in the Minnesota Association of Country Music Hall of Fame by then, right?
Yeah, I suppose he must have been.
So what happened after that show?
Well, Cougar gave me a $100 bill, and he came up to me and he kind of pointed at me and poked me in the chest, kind of the same way he did his guitar player. He said, "That was pretty good, kid. You got through those chords pretty well. I got some shows coming up in a couple weeks. I think I need you." And before I could even react, he was off.
So essentially, minutes after your first show, you were on the road.
Well, not right away. There was some rehearsals, but yeah, that was kind of it. You're in, and here we go.
We actually have a little footage of that rehearsal.
Oh yeah, here we go. Oh yeah. This was some stuff my friend Russ took. He had a video camera, always shooting stuff.
Hey, Greg. Hey, kid. Get in here. How you doing? I'm doing good. Hey, good to see you. Good to see you again.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, glad to have you here.
There I am, looking pretty nervous. I was trying my best to be cool.
I think I should have everything you need. You know, this is a pretty. This year, this is like a cutting edge guitar.
This reminds me of the one I got at home.
It's very much like a Stratocaster, but it's made by the Kramer Company. And a kid like you, you could really do something with that. You could really play it. And if you screw up, I'm going to fire you on the spot. But if you don't, then I'm not going to fire you on the spot. Basically.
Yeah, Russell would just kind of hang around and just shoot tape, whatever was going on. But I guess in hindsight, it might have been awkward to just kind of have a guy come along with me. But Cougar didn't seem to mind at all.
your buddy's kind of a getting on my nerves here, but that's fine. That's fine. I don't care. I didn't know he was coming, but that's fine.
You only did those few dates with him?
Yeah, just a few. That's kind of what I figured they wanted. I mean, they needed to fill in, and I was just kind of a barely functioning guitar player. So I thought that was kind of going to be it, and it was a pretty fun adventure.
Sure. Was that tour everything that you thought it would be, like the life of a traveling musician?
Well, I mean, I was pretty ignorant, but yeah, it was interesting. Got to ride in the van, got a $10 bill every day for food, but I don't know, it really stuck with me, you know. Keep it simple, keep it frugal, and you know, don't let it get too weird. That was Cougar's way.
So I assume you would run into Cougar fairly frequently after this tour?
Oh, Cougar, no, you don't really run into him in town at the grocery store necessarily, luckily. But I did see him actually at a show we played, I don't know, it must have been the late 90s down in Rochester, one of these city festivals where you have a bunch of different kinds of bands. I get there and I'm looking at the poster and I couldn't believe Cougar's on there. So I'm backstage and sure enough he's back and I walk over and tap him on the shoulder. Hey Cougar, how you doing? Remember me? He turns around like, hey kid, how you doing? And he started poking me in the chest. He goes, hey, you remember those chords? And I'm like, yeah. How are you doing, Cougar? He's like, hey, what are you doing here? Are you working backstage or something? And I'm like, no, I'm in a band. It's called Low. And he's like, slow? Flow? He couldn't hear very well. So I don't know. He's weird.
Wow. That is an amazing story, Alan. Thank you for this really unexpected look back into your career. We're going to take a little break here, but we'll be back soon with more from Alan Sparhawk of the Duluth, Minnesota indie rock band Low, here on Minnesota Music Uncovered, right after this.